Hi, I'm Jules Vandermaat from Tapping with Jules. I'm an EFT master trainer, an advanced certified EFT practitioner, and a social worker. And I'm here today to do a demonstration of a technique that we teach in the level 1 and 2, which is called silent movie technique, because I don't have a recorded demo of this before. So I'd like to welcome Elle Brown, who's one of my EFT certification mentees, who has agreed to be my volunteer today. Thank you, Elle.
Thank you, Jules. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's good to refresh, isn't it? Because even for me, this is not a technique that I use very often at all. And in my entire practice, working with people who have experienced sexual trauma, I think probably just because both silent movie and tell the story require the person to be able to really zoom in, right? To be able to actually really focus on the event and the peaks in the event. It just hasn't been a technique that I've it's not my go-to, but we do need to know how to do it, and it is very good for what it's good for. Yeah, so what it is good for, this technique, silent movie, is for when the client has an event that they would like to process using EFT, but maybe they feel a bit embarrassed or ashamed to just actually speak out loud what the event entails, so that they just don't want to actually talk about what happened for whatever reason. So if there's any kind of embarrassment or shame, or they just don't feel ready to share for whatever reason, this is a good technique. But you do need them to be pretty regulated, because they need to be able to bring the event to mind and play it like a little movie in their head. So they need to have the regulation, the capacity in their nervous system to do that without, becoming too dysregulated. So that's another thing to remember. So the important thing to remember with both of these techniques, tell a story and silent movie, is you've got to start with a title, right? So, and what the recommendation is to ask your client to come up with what we call a neutral title. So that means that the SUDS is only going to be like maybe 5 or 6 out of 10. So that's ideal. However, you don't, if the person comes up with a title that's not necessarily very neutral, and when they actually think about it is a bit higher, I don't tend to get into discussions with them about, oh, well, that title's no good, you've got to come up with another title. You don't, because the minute the person starts focusing on it, the body's responding, right? And so the SUDS might have started at a 5 or 6, but the minute they start even saying the words of the title, even if they are neutral, the body starts to respond. So let them have whatever their title is, and don't worry too much about the SUDS of it, because you're just going to tap it down, right? So I'll ask Elle about her title in a minute. The other important thing to remember with silent movie and tell the story is because it's quite different to the way we normally do clinical EFT, right? I mean, I do basic EFT about 90% of the time. That's what my clients are used to. So this technique is quite different from that, right? So, you've got your clients used to EFT, now you're going to do a technique that's quite different, and you need them to understand why you do it, how you do it, what it looks like. So I'm just going to demo that with Elle. So Elle has done the right thing. So the criteria for choosing an event to do this technique on, the event has to be only a couple of minutes long, right? So I would say 2 minutes generally. Even 5 minutes would be too long, right? You might need to chop it down. So this technique is good for known or suspected trauma, or like I said, just something that the person doesn't want to share details about. And you also want the event to only have maybe 2 or 3 peaks of intensity in it, right? So 2 or 3 points where they know that there's going to be some some charge in there. So anyway, Elle selected something appropriate. And what you have to explain to your client is that basically they are going to be playing the movie in their head. And most people will want to sort of close their eyes to do that, right? You just have to remind them, so they can close their eyes to bring the event to mind and play the little movie in their head. but then you want them to open their eyes while you do the actual rounds on it, because, you know, we all remember when people close their eyes, they can be a bit more susceptible to the trauma pull. So the trauma pull is just a natural phenomenon that happens when people are trying to do some work on a traumatic event. The brain wants to go to the worst part. And, you know, you can notice that by what's happening with a person's eyes. That's really the main way that I find will tell me if something different is happening for them, hence the need to keep the eyes open. Or they might start talking faster or differently. They might start moving around a bit differently. But anyway, so you want them, you can allow them to close their eyes while they're playing the movie in their head, but then when it's time to do the rounds, get them to open their eyes again. And so you're going to get them to play the movie from a neutral point, right? So first we'll tap down the title, then when we start on the event, Elle's going to play the event in her mind from a neutral point. So that just means before any bad thing happened, right? And then she's going to let me know, probably by opening her eyes and going like this, oh, I'm at the first peak, right? And then all the words that we're going to say, this is the good thing about this technique, there's no creativity whatsoever. You don't have to even think about the words because they're always the same. And it's just going to be, even though I'm at this first peak of intensity, right here, right now, I'm okay. Even though I'm at this peak of intensity, meaning this one, right here, right now, I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you'll see what that means. So she's going to start the movie at the neutral point, and she's going to let me know when the first peak is occurring in her mind. And I'm just going to ask her to just guess at the SUDS on that first peak. And it doesn't matter what it is. If it's 10, it doesn't matter. If it's 7, if it's 4, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we're just going to tap down that point until we get it to like a 0 to 2, just by saying those words over and over again. It's pretty repetitive. Even though I'm at this peak of intensity right here, right now, I'm okay. Now, notice that we are not referring to the body at all, right? This is called a gentle technique. We're not referring to the event, as in we're not talking about any details. She's not giving me any details. I'm not asking for any details. It's really just, even though I'm at this peak of intensity right here, right now, I'm okay. And then when we're tapping through the points, the reminder phrase is just this peak of intensity. I'm at this peak of intensity, this peak of intensity. So you want to be demonstrating this to your client so that they know this is what it's going to look like, right? And I'm just going to do as many rounds as it takes to get that peak down. Once that peak has come down to a 0 to 2, then I'm going to ask Elle to rewind back to the start of the event and just start playing the movie in her mind. Yeah, no, that first peak is still pretty low. Oh, here's the next peak. So then she's going to let me know, oh, I'm at the second peak. And then we're going to just do the same thing. We're just going to, okay, I'm going to ask Elle to guess what's the SUDS on that peak. Whatever it is, we're going to do as many rounds as it takes to bring it down to a 0 to 2. Once that's occurred, I'm going to have Elle rewind in her mind again, back to the start, the neutral part of the story. And then she'll play the event in her mind like a movie again, and we'll just check that first peak is still pretty low, and then we'll check that second peak is still pretty low because it might bump up again. And then Elle will let me know if there is a third peak. When she gets to that, she'll open her eyes and say, yes, I'm at the third peak. And then we're just going to do it all over again. Even though we're at this peak of intensity, right here, right now, I'm okay. Even though I'm at this peak of intensity, right here, right now, I'm okay, blah, 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 this peak of intensity, this peak of intensity. So see how it's very repetitive. There's no thinking about what words to say. It's all kind of predetermined. And the body-mind system is just so intelligent that it knows we're talking about this piece of banana bread, right? It knows. So we don't need to say any words, and we don't need to include the body. Because we're doing it this way to process it in a gentle way, basically. Any questions so far, Elle, in terms of what you need to do?
I don't think so. I just wanted to get clear on, I don't have to tell you the story, I'm playing it in my mind.
No, I don't want you to tell me. Yeah. That's good, right? So you want to pre-frame the whole situation for the client, right? So they know what their role is, that they feel very clear that, okay, so I'm not telling you anything. I'm going to play the movie in my mind. I'm going to let you know when we get to the first intense part. We're going to tap that down. I'm going to rewind. I'm going to play the movie again from the neutral point. Just check that one, you want it to still be pretty low. And then you'll let me know when the second one is. Yeah.
Okay.
So does that all kind of make sense, Elle?
It does, yeah.
And you know what, I am checking my book, right? I'm checking my handout to make sure I've covered everything. And I recommend you do the same, right? Like this is why I give you all these handouts, because this is what I always wanted. Someone please tell me exactly what words to say for each technique, right? So you've got one on tell the story with silent movie on the back. So I've got mine out here to make sure I'm doing it all properly. Okay. All right, Elle. So let's get started. Now, if, for those folks at home, if you're doing this with your clients, you might want to start with a round of silent tapping if you want to. But I've done a bit of tapping with Elle, and I know she's a fairly quick shifter. And she's a pretty sort of regulated human. So that's part of why I've asked her to do this, because I'm not expecting any big curveballs. But if they happen, they happen. It happens, it doesn't matter.
Today could be the day. No.
That's right. But I'm deliberately not doing any silent tapping with Elle, because that could just drop her to have very little intensity, because that's sort of what she's like, right? But if you have a client that is less regulated, like that does tend to experience more dysregulation once they start tapping, then start with silent tapping, right? Or just start with some orienting tapping, just to sort of take the edge off. But the way we take the edge off with this technique is to start with a movie title. So Elle, when you're thinking about this event that you know is only a couple of minutes long and it only has a couple of 2 or 3 peaks, can you give me a neutral title for that event, please?
Yes, I think I want to call it The Message.
The Message. Very good. So see, that's a nice neutral title. So when you think about that title, and now at the moment you're only thinking about the title, right? So you're not thinking about the event. You're only thinking about the title alone, The Message. Just guess at a SUDS on that.
I feel like I am getting a little bit of a rise. I would
Yeah,
say
good.
about a 4. Like it's nothing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, good. And if you were to see that as a movie title, like if you were seeing it on a billboard at a theatre, can you kind of visualize that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what do you notice when you look at the movie title at the theatre?
That I'm standing in front of it. I can see it like letters.
Bold letters, did you say, or black letters?
Yeah, like block letters. Like
Block
I'm
letters.
thinking those old school like movie theaters where it was up on the whiteboard with the black letters. That's how I'm kind of seeing.
Okay. And is it just words? Does it just say the message, or is there any images or?
No, I just see it as words. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And how far away from the actual
Yeah, I'm probably like
airport are you?
a couple of meters away from it. It's up in front of me.
Okay. And does that feel comfortable being at that distance? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. So so that can just be helpful to get a sense of what's coming up for them just thinking about the title, right? Because sometimes people will say, oh, I don't want to be anywhere near it. And anyway, but see, she's feeling quite comfortable being quite close to it. So that's good. Okay, Elle. So now, guys, we're just going to tap down the title only, right? And again, we're not asking about events. We're not asking about the body. We're just using the same words over and over again. So repeat after me, Elle. Even though I have this title.
Even though I have this title.
Called The Message.
Called The Message.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I have this movie title.
Even though I have this movie title.
Called The Message.
Called The Message.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I am okay.
Even though I have this movie title.
Even though I have this movie title.
Called The Message.
called the message.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I am okay.
Okay, so we'll start on the top of the head. The message.
The message.
The message.
The message.
The message.
Message.
This movie's called The Message.
The movie is called The Message.
The message.
The message.
The message.
The message.
This movie's called The Message.
This movie is called The Message.
The message.
Message.
All right, I'm just going to check in with Elle. With another person, I'd probably do 2 rounds, but she's a pretty quick shifter. So just thinking about the title only, Elle. So the message. What SUDS would you give that now?
Oh, probably none or a 1. Like it's
Okay.
significantly reduced.
Okay. So see that part of the technique has done its job, right? That just addressing the title, just getting the person to focus on the title can bring down the intensity on the event, right? So if it's a 0 to a 1, then we're going to leave that there. We don't need to do any more rounds on that. So now, Elle, I'm going to have you just start the movie in your mind at a neutral point, and you can close your eyes to do that. So before anything bad happened, just start playing the movie and then let me know when the first peak occurs.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, great. So just
yeah.
pardon?
The event was quite short, so I'm already at the first peak. Yeah.
Okay, good. And so just guess a SUDS on how intense you feel thinking about that first peak.
Yeah, I think it's about a 6.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. So just repeating after me. Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Okay, so top of the head, this peak of intensity.
Peak of intensity.
This peak of intensity.
Peak of intensity.
I'm at this peak of intensity.
I'm at this peak of intensity.
This peak of intensity.
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 Peak of intensity.
Okay, so let's just stop and check in. Again, another client, I would probably do 2 rounds, but Elle is a person that 1 is often enough. So now, Elle, I want you just thinking about that little snapshot, that first little peak in the movie. What SUDS would you guess now?
Maybe like a 2.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we're going to do another round on that one, I think. So maybe if I'd done 2 rounds, it would have got her to a 0. But anyway, I'm just being...
today.
Yeah, that's right. Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I am okay.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Okay, so top of the head, this peak of intensity.
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 Peak of intensity.
This peak of intensity.
Peak of intensity.
I'm at this peak of intensity.
This peak of intensity.
This peak of intensity.
Peak of intensity.
I'm at this peak of intensity.
This peak of intensity.
This peak of intensity.
Peak of intensity.
Pardon me. Okay. So just notice what you notice, Elle, when you're focusing on that first little peak. Guess what SUDS you would say for that now?
This always happens to me. I actually get to a point where I find it hard to even clearly recall that moment as clearly as I did at the start. And when the bits I can recall, like, yeah, I wouldn't even say there's a charge anymore to that.
Okay. Good. So see, that round's done its job. So now I'll ask you, Elle, to rewind back to the beginning again, the neutral part of the story. You can close your eyes if you want. And just let me know when you get to the second peak.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, good. So now at that second peak, just guess a SUDS for that part.
I think it's gone back up to about a 6 for that second peak as well.
Yeah, good. Okay. So let's go. Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Okay, so top of the head, this second peak of intensity.
This second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
The second peak.
Second peak of intensity.
This second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
I'm at the second peak of intensity.
I'm at the second peak of intensity.
This second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
This second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
This second peak of intensity.
This second peak of intensity.
Okay, let's just stop and check in. Notice what you notice about that peak.
Yeah, I think there's still a little bit of a charge. Like I would say maybe still a 2 or a 3, but it's definitely now.
Good. So we're just going to do another round on that one. Okay, you're doing really well. Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this second peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Okay, so top of the head, this second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
Second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
The second peak of intensity.
Peak of intensity.
I'm at the second peak of intensity.
I'm at the second peak of intensity.
Okay.
Yeah. It's come way down, Jules. Like I don't even think there's any. I'm trying to like bring it back up, but I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So just guess a number. It was like 2, maybe 3. What does it feel like now?
I'd say no charge. I'd say we're actually
okay. Good. All right. So now rewind back to the start, the neutral part of the story before anything bad happened, and just make sure that both those peaks still feel nice and low and neutral. And then let me know when you get to the third peak.
found it.
Yeah. Okay, good. So just focusing on that third peak of intensity, what SUDS would you give that? Just get.
I think it's about a 5.
Okay. All right, good.
My body.
Hey?
I can definitely feel it in my body. Yeah.
Okay, good. So see that she can say that, and I'm not paying any attention to the body, am I? Like, I'm not asking about the body. We're not bringing the body in. We're just letting the technique do the work. But sort of, it's good to hear that she's feeling it, right? She knows she's at the right peak. Okay, let's go. Even though I'm at this third peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this third peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this third peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this third peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this third peak of intensity now.
Even though I'm at this third peak of intensity now.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Okay, top of the head. This third peak of intensity.
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 I'm at this third peak of intensity.
I'm at this third peak of intensity.
This third peak of intensity.
This third peak of intensity.
I'm at the third peak of intensity.
I'm at the third peak of intensity.
Okay. What do you notice now when you think about that one?
It's just gone way down. So
Is it? Mm-hmm.
I think I'm probably only at like a 1. I feel quite good.
Okay. All right. All right. Are there any more peaks now that we've got the little trauma capsule open? Do you think there's any more?
There was 3 main ones. I mean, I could probably pull up one more if you needed me to.
Okay.
There was 3. I think we've hit on the 3 main ones that were in.
Okay. All right. So now just rewind back to the start again, the neutral part of the story. Play it through in your mind and just kind of reassess that each peak is a 0 to 2. And let me know when you get to that fourth one.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, so just guess a number for that fourth one.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. It's gone to a 6.
Yeah, there you go. See, so it can happen in unexpected things. Okay, so lucky we checked this one, hey?
Lucky we checked.
That's right. Okay, you're doing really well. So repeat after me. Even though I'm at this fourth peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this fourth peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this fourth peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this fourth peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Even though I'm at this fourth peak of intensity.
Even though I'm at this fourth peak of intensity.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Right here, right now, I'm okay.
Okay, so top of the head, this peak of intensity. This fourth peak of intensity.
This fourth peak of intensity.
This fourth peak of intensity.
This fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
The fourth peak of intensity.
This 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 fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
This fourth peak of intensity.
This fourth peak of intensity.
Let's just do one more round and see what happens. This fourth peak of intensity.
Fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
This 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 fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
This fourth peak of intensity.
Fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
I'm at the fourth peak of intensity.
Okay.
That second round was good.
Oh, good, good. Have a drink if you want to, Elle.
Thank you.
Good to stay hydrated when we're doing EFT. Okay, so notice what you notice about that fourth peak now. Just guess a SUDS.
I'm saying one at a guess, but I just feel that second round, like as we got to here, it came way down.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, rewind to the neutral part of the story and just go through each peak and just check that it still feels, each one feels no more than a 0 to 2. Let me know if it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other peaks? Any other kind of unexpected little peaks in there? Or does it feel like?
It felt even very different replaying it. Like it wasn't the first couple of times it was really clear, and then that time it was almost a bit murky a little bit, but
harder to recall to me, like a bit faded or
like almost I wasn't as close to it as I was when we started. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
absolutely, that's what happens.
And I didn't notice, like I was able to run through it a lot more like this versus I didn't notice kind of feelings coming to reach the point. So
okay, so no more peaks?
No.
And would you say from sort of start to finish it all felt pretty neutral? Like there was
the whole thing. And I could look at the peaks, but they were just kind of like, that's what happened. It wasn't like, oh.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it feels like, does it feel like that technique has done its job on that event, as in it sort of removed the charge from the peaks?
I feel like that, yeah.
Okay, good. So, really good. All right, so we'll finish there with the technique. Just check for me, Elle, sort of overall, how's your body feeling? How you feeling in general when you think about that event that we just worked on?
I feel very relaxed right now. I always reach a point with EFT where I almost feel a little bit drunk because I'm so relaxed.
Yeah, that's right.
So I feel like I'm at that point. When we were talking about it at the start and I was getting the right charge, I definitely felt that in my body, like I was getting hot and things like that. Whereas now I feel like I'm a really normal temperature and I just feel
good. Great. All right. So see how we've just let the technique do the work. You know, we haven't asked what's happening in the body. We haven't asked about the event. She's not had to share any sort of personal details about it or anything about what was happening in the body. And the technique has processed, it's done its job, hasn't it, to sort of work on that event the way we want it to. Good. So how did you find that, Elle, as a different way? Because you'd be very used to basic EFT, wouldn't you?
I really liked that actually because I did, like I'm quite a regulated person, but I did pick an event for this one that had a little bit more charge to it and it was quite recent.
Yes.
I think I would have found it a lot harder having to talk about it and retell it.
Yeah.
Went over it a few times, like replay the movie. I think if
Yeah.
I had to retell the story, I think I would have
Yeah.
actually felt maybe more dysregulated
Yeah.
than I did. It was easier to kind of
Yes.
watch it. And also I could relate to you saying it was a bit like you could use it on someone that's a bit embarrassing to talk about, because mine
Yes.
was a message and I felt silly for being so dysregulated over that. So I
Yeah.
could see like the validity in using it with clients.
Yeah.
Obviously they can't talk about something because it's really traumatic, but also that maybe
Yeah.
just I have a lot of women that feel a bit silly over the things that create
That's right.
them. So yeah, I
That's
really
right.
liked it, Jules. I really liked
Yeah,
it.
good, good. Yeah. And like something just popped into my mind, like Elle works with a lot of mums, right?
Yeah.
So there might be, times when a woman might have yelled or screamed at her child, or, like there's some interaction in the family that she felt like, I don't want to share the details about it, but I would like to work on it. Anyway, that you can just see the use for it, hey, like how useful it could
Yeah.
be.
And I think I'm
Yeah.
guilty of always wanting to go to the body, and that you probably noticed that in the demo. Like I want to talk about the body, but I think it was a
Yeah.
good lesson for me in this as well. Like if something is charged like that, you kept it.
Yeah.
It felt really safe to just use minimal words and not go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that
That's
as well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to see how the technique is doing the work with the body without us having to include the body. Like that's just how intelligent the whole system is.
It's
Like
amazing.
the clinical EFT as a system and the body mind as a system is so intelligent that we don't need to always be, being specific or
Yeah.
including in this instance, we're not including the body and we're not being specific about the event, and it still has worked really well, hasn't it? And kept you feeling safe. I mean, that's the
Yeah, I
main
felt really safe throughout
thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Elle, for helping me demonstrate that. That was good. I almost messaged you and said find something with a bit of charge
Oh
because
no, I do. I know I'm quite a quick shifter, so yeah, I was hoping that
yeah.
I had enough, but I think it actually did. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find that there was sort of more charge in the peaks than you expected, or you
Yes.
did know it was going to be pretty?
You know what? Because I sort of thought, oh, it happened. I'm okay about it now. Because
Yeah.
I'd done some tapping on that event myself, but I
Yeah.
on the shifts like we just got then. But I wasn't
No.
expecting that, particularly like when I said, oh yeah, there's another peak we could use, like the fourth peak, and then it shot straight
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
6. I mean, a 6 for me is quite,
It's
I think,
high.
high for me. It might not sound high for
Yeah.
someone else, but
No,
yeah,
no, that's high for you, isn't
a
it?
6
That
for me.
would be someone else's 8 or
That's
9,
what
probably.
that's
Yeah.
the only thing I was worried about, that some people might think, oh, a 6 isn't that high, but for me, I feel like that's quite
Yes.
a charge. So,
That's right. And you felt it in your body, right? And when the event happened, you had a
yeah.
strong visceral
I
response, didn't you?
did. Even when we said, the title, the message at the start, I kind of thought, oh, I've got a little bit of a charge already. And then
Yeah.
as we went through, yeah, I wasn't expecting me to jump up to 6s. So
No. So that's sort of good to demonstrate that as well, that
yeah.
it is, once we open up that trauma capsule, like the person remembers certain things about an event, but the trauma capsule holds a lot of stuff from that event that, I mean, this is a recent event, but it might be related to an earlier event. Do you know what I mean? Which is why this event has got a lot of charge, because it's probably related to previous
Yes.
events, right? So anyway, it doesn't really matter. But the point is, when the trauma capsule opens, people are often surprised, like, oh, there was more charge in there than I thought. There's more in the body, and there's more peaks. And actually, I'm remembering a whole lot of other things about, and that wouldn't necessarily happen with something like this that happened a week and a half ago. But
No, but it pulls you back, like you said, with similar experiences or things that happen
yeah,
to that person or whatever it is. So yeah, I
yes,
definitely had more of a charge than I expected to have, but
yeah,
uh, I feel good now.
that's good though. Good, good. Okay, it'll be interesting to see how it affects, like, what the impact of doing this is on how
Yeah.
you were feeling about that event. Like, it was bad enough
Yeah.
for you to do some tapping at the time, but be interesting to see, how that sort of, how was it showing up for you? Do you mind?
Oh, I don't mind sharing it all. Yeah, no, it was interesting. Um, I don't know how much you want me to go. So I got an unexpected message was basically, and the
Yeah.
minute I got it, I actually felt a big jolt in my nervous system, immediate kind of, and like my stomach dropped and I got really hot. And I almost felt a bit vaguely, like my throat felt a bit tight, and I just had a really big physical response. And then a couple of days following, like my tummy was really upset. I just felt like every time I thought about it, I had a definite charge about it. And so I was tapping on it, trying to kind of shift. I think that's what carried me through, though, actually tapping on it, navigating it. And then I kind of had that residual anger and stuff after it that came up about what was like that. So I think, I probably still had some processing to do on it, but I still, the charge was on that immediate receiving it, and then some things happened following. And I could, as soon as I went back to that first kind of elevated point, I was like, I remember just how much of a jolt that felt in my body. It was like a big surge of adrenaline.
So that's great, isn't it? That's good. Yeah, well, I'll check in with you and I'll see you next week at mentoring or whenever our next mentoring. You can let me know. Okay, well, thanks a lot, Elle, for doing that. That was really good. That'll be good for people to learn from. Thank you.
Thank you so much.